Well, hello there, Mavericks. This is Rob Reinhold. It is the Currency Recap, August 21st, 2024. In this session, we're going to go over what happened in the news. We're going to take a look at the broad markets. We're going to go in and jump into all of the currencies, score them +3 to -3, and then we're going to take the strong, pit them against the weak, and those are our currencies we are hunting.
Disclaimer. This video was created for professional Forex and crypto traders. Maverick Currencies is a proprietary trading firm that employs professional traders around the world. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits they generate. All trades and analysis in this video are for professional traders only. If you are interested in becoming a professional Forex and currency trader for Maverick, click the apply button in the video description. Let's break down what happened today.
All right, today was an overall quiet day. We've got a continuation of the big equity market off of the bottom. So going back real quick, a couple weeks ago, had a big volatility blow off, markets tanked, and then we have rebounded and we've basically recovered everything that we lost. We're not at all-time highs yet, but we are getting close to all-time highs. Today we did get the FOMC minutes from the last FOMC report, and they basically showed that everyone is on board. Every single person is on board for a 25% or basis point cut in September. And in fact, there were some board members that really wanted to make the cut in July. So the fact that there was a lot that wanted to make the cut in July, but they weren't able to get a majority, pretty much baked in the cake. We have a September rate cut coming. And the bond market, you can see the 10-year bond, it fell today on this news. Basically, everyone knows that rate cuts are coming. Interestingly enough, we have seen gold and cryptos not correlated lately, and they've been correlated sometimes. And if you think about why gold goes up because people don't want paper money. They don't want paper money, so they say, I want gold. And a lot of times that comes when inflation's high or when interest rates are dropping. We're starting to see the cryptos start to act a little bit more like gold, like they should. I'm definitely not like an all-out bull here, but I've been pretty pessimistic on crypto for the last 2 months, and I'm starting to see some really good signs. We're going to take a look at some of those and just look at their charts, and you'll see the cryptos are starting to at least look better technically. If we go here to the daily results here, I just want to point out the first thing of how small these moves are. If we take out everything but the pound, you can see there was 0.2, 0.3% max on any trade outside of the pound. And if you bring the pound in, you had like a 0.5% move today. This is low volatility. Now, if you've never traded in an August before, this is typically how August is. We just had a big bout of volatility, so the first part of August was great. It was fantastic. But this is more like typical August trading. I don't love this style of trading, and I always like to adjust my trading volume to how much I trade to the market volatility. So 2 weeks ago, very, very active. I was doing lots of overnight trading. Now I'm pulling back and doing less currency trading than I was before. It's just not the right market for it. Remember, things are cyclical, and typically we see a pickup after Labor Day, but I'm really looking out at these next 2 weeks, not super excited for trades in Forex. There could be some good trades outside of Forex, and there's going to be a couple days in there that are really great days, but I think overall, Forex is going to be lower volatility for the next 2 weeks. Taking a look at this, you can see crypto starting to perk up here. We're going to take a look at the charts here in just a second, but everything else fairly muted. The best crypto today was Bitcoin Cash, and we got Bitcoin and Ethereum about the same here. Litecoin, that was strong while the rest of the cryptos were dropping, it's pulled back and now showing some weakness. So we can look at this and say, okay, well, Litecoin is now inversely correlated. It went up when the rest of the cryptos went down. Now when the cryptos are going up, it's going down. Inversely correlated for the moment. If we take a look at where we are at a +2 on the markets. We are clearly above the 20, clearly above the 50-day moving average. And we could be moving to a +3, but I'm okay being a little late on this. We barely just got this turn. I mean, this turn in the 50 just barely came. So there's no reason to be in a big rush. No reason at all. +2 is pretty close to +3. We got some overhead resistance here at these all-time highs. I think we're probably going to drift up to those. I don't see any selling, and this is very typical August activity, where it just drifts up and drifts up. No huge, big, crazy days, and then every so often a down day, but for the most part, just a creep higher. Let's take a look at the schedule over the next 24 hours. We basically have European PMIs. That's really what we have. European PMIs, and then we have the Jackson Hole Symposium, where we're going to hear from pretty much all the central bankers around the world. Typically, no one cares about all the other central bankers. It's all about Chairman Powell, and he speaks Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're looking for any fireworks out of the Jackson Hole Symposium, it will be on President Jerome Powell's speech. Let's go in and take a look at some of these charts, and let's see if we can find what's strong and what's weak. I want to take a look at the crypto basket first. So this is all the cryptos equally weighted against each other, and you can see this big fall. And remember, the rest of the market bounced up and is like trading right underneath those highs. We did not see that. We saw this big, long base here. Now, this was looking more like a bear rally to where we were going to make a new low, but the longer it holds on here, the more it's actually looking bullish. And once we start to get above moving averages, it's starting to look a little bit more bullish. Now, I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is my favorite. It's been my favorite. And you can see that Bitcoin is looking a little bit different. And I'm going to bring this in on maybe a 12-hour chart. I'm going to go to 4-hour. Just kind of want to show you what has been happening here. You know, we've got this base. We've got this base here, and you can see it's starting to look like it wants to poke its head out of it. That being said, we came up to that level today, and you can see it was rejected. It was rejected off this. Whenever you have a trade like this, and what I mean a trade like this is whenever you have a base and it keeps hitting its head on the top, it's tough because you don't know which one the real breakout is going to be. You could have easily said it's this one back here, or it's this one here, or maybe it's this one here. We don't know when the real ones are going to happen. But what we do know is the price action looks like one of these is going to be the real one. So how do you get into these false breakouts and be able to survive them when they ultimately fail? This one failed, this one failed, this one failed. I mean, they just failed short term, and then they went back into the base. I think what you need to do is you need to take pyramiding position sizes. So I think when you see a potential breakout, I think you say, hey, look, I'm going to take a third of the position now. And if it fails, then I'm going to try to add the next third near the bottom of the base. So you can see that if you did that on these trades back here, where again it failed, and you said, okay, I'll take another long at the bottom of the base, you can see your average price is going to be basically the middle of the base, which is a very comfortable place to be. That's a very comfortable place to be. Now this, having your entry here, is a very uncomfortable place to be because it's likely to go back down into this base. But if you take a little bit here, you grab a little bit down by the bottom, fully understanding that you're playing this game of I don't know when the breakout is going to happen, and when it happens, it's going to be very difficult to call exactly when it is. How do I catch this move but survive it if it's just a failed breakout? And this is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. I like Bitcoin much better than Ethereum. You can see the Ethereum chart is underperforming. We're not even close to the highs of the range here. So for me, Bitcoin, it's not ready to go yet, but I do think we're starting to see some good price action. All right, I'm going to check in on my favorite currencies here. And my favorite short for the week was the dollar. The dollar was my favorite short for the week, and it's been a great trade. It's been a great trade for the week. Let's go back to the daily chart. The question is it still the best? And the answer is probably not. We had, again, it's Wednesday, so we had Sunday, Monday, great candles. Just beautiful candles. Open at the high, close at the low. You can see now it's starting to look like it's losing some momentum. I would not be surprised at all to see a little bounce. And to be honest, I would love to see a little bounce because that's going to give me a better price to short into. So dollar was my favorite, no longer my favorite. Yen has held up all week. I am not interested at all in shorting yen. Swiss franc had a bounce this week. So Swiss franc was the other one that I was looking for shorts. So we saw dollar go down while Swiss franc went up. Right now it looks like dollar wants to go up. I think it means the Swiss franc is the one to take a look for. This little bear rally here up to this moving average starting to fade. I like it quite a bit. So for me, Swiss franc looks like the best short. The big question is, what's the best long? You can see euro is not giving me any price action to even talk about it more. I'm just going to skip it. The pound had a big rally off the bottom and it's basing here. It's a nice little base, but it's not ready to go yet. CAD has been on the short watch list, and I think along with dollar, we talked about how correlated CAD and dollar are right now. So again, I'm just looking at what is going to be the best thing to buy. Aussie has been the strongest between the pound we took a look at. You can see it's backing off a little bit. We love these little backoffs. We love these on this 4-hour chart, giving us some better entry points. Again, this was a much better entry point here off these back down to the 50-day moving average. So I do like Aussie here. Taking a look at Kiwi, and frankly, Kiwi's holding in even better. So Aussie pulled back, Kiwi's basing. So I'm going to put Kiwi on the top of the list here. Top of the list, Aussie, and I'm really only interested in shorting Swiss franc at this point. Here's our velocity score ranking, and you can see everything's pretty much in the middle. And this is where we don't like to push our trades. When everything's in the middle, it's telling us we're in a consolidation phase. So I like the trade less, not more here. If we take a look at what we are seeing at +2 or -2, we do have the dollar at a -2, but it's looking like it's bottoming out. I identified the Swiss franc as a better short, but here's the problem. Look where it is right now. It's too early. It's too early to go short the Swiss franc. It's just too early. What is looking the strongest here? Bitcoin and the pound. So I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin. Well, we already took a look at Bitcoin. I already gave you my breakdown of Bitcoin, so we won't do that in the chart section. But I'm going to take a look at pound versus dollar, and I'll take a look at pound versus Swiss franc. Because other than that, and even that pair is not ready to trade yet. Remember, we need that Swiss franc to actually turn over. So let's go take a look at those crosses. And basically, I think that for me, I think I'm pretty much done trading for the week unless volatility picks up. Let's take a look at that pound Swiss franc. All right, so when you take a look at a chart specifically on pound Swiss franc, we can see that we had this run. We're getting this pullback. You know, it's a small pullback. It definitely looks like you could possibly go long this pullback. Here's the problem. Is this a great looking setup? Is this a great trade in a great environment with tons and tons of volatility? The answer is no. This is an okay trade setup. That's it. An okay one. I don't love okay trade setups. I like to be patient and wait for better trade setups. So if you are looking at this, okay, we go above this moving average on the 4-hour chart, above the parabolic SAR, we're then above the 50 on the RSI. Okay, it all gives green lights to be long. So somewhere around 111.70. 111.70 would be the entry point. The exit point may be down here at 111.05. Again, this is a decent trade, and if you saying I gotta make a trade, which you don't, then this would probably be the one to make. But like I said, I do believe this one's too early. I think it's too early here. If you're going purely off what is strong and weak right here, right now, is pound dollar. Pound dollar is the only trade here, and you can see it's still working. It's still working. We just had a big run up. We got this little gravestone doji here, but you can see there's no follow through. There's no follow through to that sell off. So pound dollar, if you had to be in one, pound dollar right now. I like pound Swiss franc later because I do think that dollar is showing some bottoming action and the Swiss franc is showing some topping action, but it's not quite there yet. I'm just going to repeat what I've been saying. Trade less, not more. We're in a low volatility environment. There's not a ton going on here. I think you want to just sit back and wait for some volatility to come back in. Maybe if we get some craziness off of the Powell speech on Friday, it might make sense to dive back in. But for me, I think I'm really looking to next week, and I'm not looking to be active next week. I'm waiting for the week after that, after Labor Day. That is the currency recap. Goodbye, everyone.